Magic and Minimalism. Assign a role to everything in your home. Hello everyone. Today, as just mentioned, we are talking about minimalism. Minimalism is a fad that I think is a very good one. It's something that I have been following for a while, even though I didn't know that it had a name. It was just kind of, for me, it was a natural evolutionary process because, well, I'll get into that later. But the point of minimalism, I believe, is to take the focus off of our current consumer mindset, especially in the West, Western Europe, the United States, very much so, and to refocus on the life experience, on those things that we're starting to remember are more important than the things that we have. Merry meet everyone, I'm Witch Hazel, and on this channel I try to mesh together the practical hands-on side of witchcraft with the sometimes more difficult to comprehend and nail down spiritual side of things. So I have been talking a lot lately about the home and about creating a home altar, meaning being very specific about the things that we keep in our home, that we bring into our home. And this is why I believe the idea of minimalism meshes quite well with that idea of a home altar. So when we think of minimalism, we think typically of things, right? This focus on the things that we have, the things that we should get rid of and why. And it's very much in my opinion, a mundane topic. It can be something as simple as decluttering, and it can be something as in-depth as a spiritual transformation. And that is the side of it that I want to talk about today. How do we make this process of minimalism, how do we make it more spiritual? A little bit less of just, yes, I know I have too much stuff, let me get rid of it, and more of this focus on, it's not that I don't have or don't want a bunch of things, it's that I want to know what the things I have mean to me. That, I think, is the change in focus. For myself, anyway. So if we think back to, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this in another video, spiritual groups. Spiritual groups like, monks, nuns, gurus, anyone who is known for it, that is their life, is to be a religious. In almost all cases, it doesn't matter whether it's Hindu, Buddhist, Catholic, what have you, there is always this thought, this idea of poverty, of not having material things. I'm going to get more into that in the other video, but what I want to highlight here is the fact that there's a reason for that. The fewer things we have in life, the fewer things distract us. Meaning, if I have decided that the most important thing in life is to secure my connection with the divine, right? That intrinsic connection with spirit. Well, that's going to take some effort on my part, and I don't want to take the easy route and get distracted by all the things around me, surrounding me, or bringing more things that I have to pay attention to. So from that side, from that spiritual point of view, it's just practical to not have things. Of course, it gets into more detail than that, but that's the basic idea. You don't want to be attached to too many things. So the way that I have found to do this, or the way that works best for me, is to have the idea in my mind that everything in my home serves a purpose. By thinking of it that way, it really helps to decrease the amount of things I bring into my home. Every time I look at something and say, oh, I would like that, I have to think, oh, but wait, what purpose will it serve for me? And for myself, that comes down to two things. Either it's a utility item, like I need a basic amount of dishes and utensils in the kitchen, right? If I want to eat my meals. I need a basic amount of clothing to keep myself clothed every day. So that's utility items. The second thing is things that remind me of my spiritual purpose. That seems very lofty, but it can be broken down into something as simple as gratitude, or as simple as being thankful for certain things. So let me give an example because I'm not explaining this very well. But first, before I get to that example, I want to let you know about a new freebie that I have for you, which is down in the description, and that is a 4-step guide to intuitive power. So this is going to help you make that connection with the divine that we're always looking for within all of these videos, and it's meant to help you do so within 30 days. And how do you know that it's working? Well, the whole point is to see things working a bit better for you in your manifesting and your spell work within those 30 days. So I think it's a fun exercise and I wanted to share it, so that is in the link below. But getting back to our example, I recently bought a new lamp for my living room. And this lamp is rather large. It's kind of interesting looking. It's definitely not your cookie cutter, got it from IKEA or Target lamp. And in most cases you could say, well, this is just a random luxury item. What was the purpose of this lamp? I could partially say it had a utilitarian function, meaning I needed another lamp for the dark, dank corner in my living room, so okay, I could justify it that way. More than that, honestly, because I could have gotten any cheap lamp to fulfill the utilitarian purpose of having a lamp in that corner, but more than that, this lamp was something that I saw and it just made me happy to look at it. It was very interesting, the design, the shape, the size of it. And I debated about getting this lamp for several weeks before I actually went and bought it. So I think the more important purpose of this lamp, when I look at it, that's why I'm looking over there at the lamp, when I look at it, I can gain appreciation for creativeness of human beings. Somebody put this lamp together and it is such an interesting design and it has such quirky little details to it that I could say, this really helps me to appreciate the creative force that the divine gives all of us. Somebody had to be inspired to create that lamp. And in my mind, it's a beautiful lamp. So you have gratitude for not only the fact that now I have light in that corner where I didn't have light, I have gratitude for the fact that I was able to buy that lamp. In many places, many people would not have been able to afford the lamp, let's say. I have gratitude for the fact that I have electricity to plug the lamp into. When we think about it, then we can look at that item in our home and be reminded of dozens of things that we should be grateful for. We can be reminded of all sorts of things that the universe provides for us that we take for granted most of the time. So that is why I keep quirky things like that lamp, because they are a definite reminder to me of things I need to be grateful for and of the creative beauty of the world. I know that's a lot of purpose to give to a lamp, but it's true. And that is essentially what I do with all of the things in my home. Everything I have must remind me, especially if we're working on the home as the altar type of a point of view. Everything I have needs to remind me of some reason why I'm grateful, some reason why I have a connection to the divine that I can see in these objects around me. So to finish up on this thought, I think it's important to note that The biggest issue many people have with this idea of minimalism is this idea that in order to be a minimalist, I have to deprive myself of things. And that's not actually true. I like to look at it this way. Minimal, the word minimal means different things to different people. It's not necessarily advocating that you give up everything other than the bare essentials. Some people will do that, but those people are comfortable with that. If giving up everything but the bare essentials will cause you depression, cause you to feel like you have nothing in this world, that's problematic. Don't do it. Remember that everything that comes into our lives, all the material things, we may need them, we may not need them, but they are all things that are given to us by the divine for safekeeping. So, this is important to remember because this makes it easier, again, not to just randomly start bringing things in. Yes, divine gives us all sorts of options because divine gave us free will, and we as human beings are creative because we are part of divine, so there are all these things out there. Sometimes you want all the things, but remember, if you choose to have all the things, that's fine, but they are all gifts, which means they must all be maintained and well cared for. So, if you start bringing in more and more and more and more, can you maintain those things and still keep your focus on that gratitude, keep your focus on that connection with the divine that all of these things are supposed to represent? Because if not, if it gets overwhelming, then you lose out on a few fronts. First off, we start to neglect these gifts. They fall into disrepair. And we don't appreciate them as much as we should because now it becomes a chore to take care of all of them. So we neglect, we are no longer grateful, and a cluttered home, for me anyway, creates a cluttered mind. Whenever my home gets messy, I can't function. It really does affect my overall energy, I guess. So keep those things in mind. Again, it's all up to you what your version of minimal is, whether or not you believe in keeping a minimal house. But for my particular path and my decision to create a home altar where all of the things in my life have to represent something important to me, then this is my way that I choose to do that. I have become very picky about the things that I bring into the home. I think that is all for what I wanted to say about minimalism and assigning a role to everything in your home. The one thing that I did leave out was sentimentality. Sometimes things have a purpose to you that is specific or special just to you. Meaning, if you have a gift that a family member gave to you, maybe it's not useful to you, but it means a lot to you. That is another perfect thing to have and to take care of, because you can be grateful for that gift. And that gratitude connects you then with the spirit side of things. And you also have something that's very personally meaningful. So yes, sentimentality does count. Just make sure that it's not every other thing is sentimental. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have your own opinions on minimalism, like it, don't like it, let me know in the comments, and how you go about creating the rules for your version of minimalism. Or maximalism. That's something I have not explored, but I would like to hear more about, so add that in as well. I will be back shortly with another video, so until then everyone, blessed be.